Since the Middle Ages, Jaipurians have used these stones to drive away evil and attract good fortune, and are therefore used in every sphere of life, from weddings and births to careers and education. When a child is born, for example, family members will buy certain types of gems for the child's safekeeping, in the same way that we may open a trust account. And when that child grows into adulthood and gets married, those gems are used as a dowry at the ceremony. Precious gems here represent the entire cosmos and gave me a new appreciation of why the gems we auction on the Jewelry Channel really are exceptional. It is not just the livelihood of these artisans, but the very fabric of their lives. Fabric and weaving is also a craft that Jaipur is famous for, and anyone going there should take a look at the incredible silks at the Johari Bazaar. And since I was from the Jewelry Channel, I was determined to get a bargain. How much for two?
350.
350 rupees. Okay. It was over 100 degrees in the sun, and with the proximity of the nearby Thar Desert, a dry and dusty wind was blowing through the city. It had been a long day of incredible experiences, so I climbed the roof of our headquarters to reflect on this beautiful city and enjoy the cooling mountain breeze that came with nightfall. This is such an amazing city. It is so busy, and there's so much history behind it. It's a very medieval city. You'll notice this mountain range behind. This whole city is guarded by mountains and walls. It's got a tremendous history. This is the city that 80% of the world's jewels are produced from. I'm so honored to be here. This view is breathtaking. I didn't sleep much that night. All I could think about was what other miracles of expertise and artistry I would witness as I returned to Adarsh Nagar the following morning to see what would happen to our precious gems next. After the cutting, the stones are brought here to the pre-shaping department. And you'll notice there's a lot of noise going on, but that's because we've got high-powered machines working to chisel away at these stones. The stones are looked at and evaluated the best shape that would be for that stone. And again, they're using blades just like they did in the cutting department. These blades can be very dangerous, but these people are very, very skilled in what they're doing. The utmost amount of craftsmanship is needed, and you'll notice they'll take even tiny stones and put them up against the blade. And I'm just amazed because these people really know what they're doing. After pre-shaping, the gems are brought here into calibration. Now this is the place that the final dimensions of the gem are determined. Now these instruments you see them using here, it's called a calibration watch. And the purpose of this watch is to make sure that the dimensions of the stone are perfect. So he's using this machine to constantly chisel away at the stone and then check his work constantly. This is done down to the 100th of millimeter. That's how precise this is. So that when you receive the jewelry, the stone fits perfectly into the jewelry like a hand in a glove. It's awesome. We're in one of the final stages of producing our gemstones, and this is the faceting stage. All facets are just the slight cuts in the gem that really helps to illuminate light and makes it more brilliant of a stone. Now they use a special technique called concaving, and all that means is that it's a slight curve in each facet of the stone. This increases the value of the stone, makes light just shine from it much more brightly, and makes it a much more brilliant stone. The story of Jaipur is inextricably linked with the history of gems and jewelry. After being founded in the 12th century by warrior princes, it was rebuilt in the 15th century according to the principles of Hindu architectural theory that planned out the streets and blocks in the pattern of ancient astrological zodiac signs. Each of the 9 districts signify the 9 planets of the solar system. And since the Hindus believe that certain gemstones resemble those very same planets, so that wearing the gemstone of your star sign would bring health, wealth, and happiness, the layout of Jaipur city is literally built on the cosmic power of gemstones. As I took time out from Adarsh Nagar, I had time to reflect on what I had seen, and in doing so, I began to see similarities everywhere I went. There was a strong sense of community that came through such intricate, detailed craftsmanship, the same smiling faces framed by skill and dedication to art. Hindi architecture is a virtual mirror of their gem work. A solid piece of stone is hewn and cut away to eventually reveal a piece of complex and breathtaking beauty. That magical transition from the basic to the spectacular, the crude to the awesome doesn't come from computers, it comes from people. People who have made a journey through time and space and brought their skills and tradition of gem cutting along with them in a way that no machine could ever replicate. Seeing these buildings constructed centuries ago and still giving joy to the people today inspired me to see for one last time the final stage in the journey of our gems. Now that the stones have been polished, they're brought down here to quality control, and this is one of the most important parts of the jewelry screening process, because this is the time that the stones are heavily scrutinized under a microscope to find anything wrong. If there are inclusions or cracks or errors in the color, this is the time that they're detected, and many times they can't even be detected with the naked eye. For example, this particular stone, I can only see the crack when I look under a microscope. So here, just looking at it under the light with a microscope, I can barely see a crack. They marked it. And whenever there's an error like this, they reject the stone, because we're so committed to giving you the best quality stones that anything that's less than the best, we won't accept and we won't sell to you. That's the Jewelry Channel's promise. We are now here at the grading phase, which is one of the final stages in our gem producing process. And here, the stones are divided based on their color, their size, their weight, their clarity, and they're graded 1 through 4, 4 being the highest quality. Now here at the Jewelry Channel, it is a priority of ours to make sure that you, the customer, get the highest quality stone. Now remember, when you're calling to place your bid, you are bidding on the highest quality stones. There's lots of craftsmanship, lots of workmanship, but more importantly, we later sort to give you the very best of what we had from all over the world. There is no middleman. We source the stones, we produce the stones, and we make them available to you, the viewer. You're really getting a great deal. No hidden cost. You are getting the maximum value for the amount of money that you're paying. You can rest assured that with the Jewelry Channel. As the stones were packed away for shipment, I realized that I had witnessed an incredible journey. I already knew a fair amount about gem cutting, but at this point I knew that I had to put into practice what I had learned. One last thing for me to do before